Welcome back to 13C, everyone. Today we're taking a look at a pretty interesting optic here from Weaver. This is their tactical model. It's a 1-to-7 variable power optic, and this has some very interesting features to it. It's what's known as a dual plane reticle. For those of you who aren't familiar with the terms, there's a first or front focal plane and a second or rear focal plane in most optics. And of course, kind of the heart of the optics would be in the middle where the erector is and other components of the optic. For this particular optic, what Weaver's done is they've placed an etched mil-dot reticle in the first focal plane. And then in the second focal plane, they've placed an optional red dot you can turn on and off. What this allows is, as you zoom in and out of the target, going from 1 to 7 power, the mil-dot scales proportionately with the target. As your target gets larger, so does the reticle, the crosshairs. And this serves several different functions. One of the best is that you can have accurate range estimation throughout the full zoom of your optic. For optics that place the reticle in the second focal plane, generally there's only going to be one power in your variable power optic where your reticle, as far as for ranging purposes, will actually be accurate. And normally that's at the higher end of the scale. So if you have a 1-to-7 power optic that has the reticle in the second focal plane, 7 power generally is going to be where that estimating capability would be accurate. At 1 power it will be completely off. That brings up another great point. This has a true 1 power setting, meaning that as you look through this, you would look through it like you would a normal unmagnified optic. It gives you a very large field of view for a 24mm objective, what this has. And being 1 power allows you to use it just like a traditional red dot. That allows you to have a consistent 4 MOA dot for using, if you wanted to use it at 7, you certainly can. But it's most beneficial out at 1 power. You can use it like a traditional red dot. It also has 11 intensity settings here, and in between each one is an off position, so that way if you're using it at 9 power, you don't have to cycle all the way through to 1 to get it to go off. You can just turn it that one click and it will go off, turn it again and it'll come back on at 9 or 8, depending which direction you rotate it in. Some of the other features on this optic. For your variable zoom, it features a couple different height tabs here that you can put on here. You can leave it off and it has just this slight bump. This is the high one that I've got on here for illustrative purposes. Then make another one that's about half as tall. What that allows is, as you're shooting, if you want to engage a target at closer range, gives you a good area to get a good grip on to zoom it back out to 1, or if you needed to quickly go back to 7, you can do that as well. That's a pretty nice feature they incorporate, and you can easily change these out. There's 2 little screws right here. Just loosen those up and it slides right off. And you don't even have to use these tabs if you don't want to. There's a small nub there, and of course the entire way around is knurled, so you don't really even have to use one of these if you don't want to. It does help though if you've got gloves or other things on. Some other points of this. The turrets are protected by caps, which also have built-in compartments here for an extra battery, which this red dot does take. Even if the red dot fails, the reticle in the first focal plane is etched onto the glass itself, so you don't have to worry about that. You still will always have that, even if your red dot goes out. Your turret caps are free setting, meaning that if you pull them out, you can turn them and set them back to 0 once you have your optic sighted in wherever you want it. You just push back down and they lock back into place. As many of you know, I'm quite a fan of putting that reticle up in the first focal plane. Throughout your zoom power, that means that you'll be able to estimate your range to target, whether you're 1 power or 7 power, and be able to do your bullet holdovers if you're going to utilize that as well. So that's really a nice feature. Being able to have a true 1 power and the red dot on and off allows you to be able to acquire your target very quickly. Sounds like Christmas dinner's coming in early. In any case, I've got a 34mm tube here on this, and these are the only 34mm rings I have available right now, so before this finds its permanent home, I'll wind up tracking down a QD mount for that. Final thoughts on this optic are pretty positive. I'm really enjoying this. I think it's going to find a good home on what I consider to be one of my designated marksman type rifles, which would be either my SCAR 17, probably my DPMS G2. So eventually this is going to find its way over there. For now, I've been using it quite a bit on this ARX 100 as I get to know this rifle better. I've run through carbine class, a couple other things, and I'm just really trying to get to know this rifle to give it a good solid review here. So look for that. That should be up any day now. I want to thank everyone for watching. I really appreciate your comments, your questions. You can find us at Facebook, facebook.com/gun reviews. We're also on Instagram. We're at 13C Gun Reviews. And of course, like and subscribe here. It really, that feedback that you give to us, be it questions, liking, commenting, subscribing, really helps us to know that what we're doing out here is worthwhile, rather than just being out here in a farm field in the middle of the Midwest here. Lets us know we're not alone, and we really appreciate that. So thank you again, everyone. Be safe. So here I am shooting, minding my own business, and off in the distance in my soybeans, I see this guy. Sorry about the shaky video here, trying to record through this is tough. I'm using a Weaver Tactical 1:7 power optic and my Samsung S4 phone.